Yo, what's up, man?
What's up, playa? I don't know. I've never called anybody playa in my life before.
You've been you found the right guy to call that. I think. I'm not sure.
Are you a player?
I
don't want to be a player no more. Okay.
I've similarly, I don't think I've ever been called that. So we shared the moment of first. What's I have it on my mind. I'm going right into it, man. What's one fun thing you're gonna do this week? We're talking about today, like it'll play into what I'm thinking of today. But what's one fun thing you're gonna do this week, man?
Oh man, hitting me. This is I'm not prepared for this question, which is interesting because I'm a very fun guy. I want everybody to know.
You are. Well, you guys. One thing I like.
Fun.
Yeah, one thing I like about you and Chelsea is you live a full life of experiences and I think pretty good deeds. But I'm not joking about that. But I mean, you guys are fun. You're fun people. We have fun together. That's that. At the end of the day, like, why do you hang out with somebody? Oh, because they're fun. Like, let's just simmer it right down. You got two kinds. You got fun or not fun. If you're in the one category, it's easy, you know.
Let's see. The most fun thing that I'm going to do this week, I'm going to clean out my garage. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So is that, I mean, that can be actually a fun thing. That sounds like a daunting nightmare. And I've been in that garage, so I know a little bit, but it's going to be fun though.
No, it's not going to be fun. I was being facetious.
Okay.
Let's see. Aiden's friend has a soccer game a hockey game, a hockey playoff. I think I might go take a look at that.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Chelsea and I, we're going to be spontaneous, I think, this weekend. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, then I hope you
What about you? How about you? What about you?
Yeah. Okay. So I went ice fishing on Sunday. Pretty cool. Caught a slab of a crappie. Pretty good, man. I did catch a big crappie, but bass, some small pike. Didn't hit the large trout that we were hoping for. And look, anybody in Minnesota would laugh at me. The ice fishing I did was on like a municipal town park pond, which is cool, and it was great. But the town is known for the trout hatchery that it has. And one of the perks of having the trout hatchery in town is not just that the lake gets stocked, but their old breeding stock, their big, massive males and females that they retire, they keep in town. They put them in that town for the local townspeople.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they just put them in the lake. They're in that pond. They're really not designed to live for a full season because trout need running water and all that. These aren't lake trout. These are rainbows and brookies. So, but there's some big slabs of rainbows in that pond, and didn't get one. That's what I was really hoping for. But you know, you gotta enjoy life.
So I don't want to move away from this because I am interested in doing this at some point. Is it like when you get a fish? Is it like a fight, or do you just pull it up, or how does it? I mean.
I don't know. I mean, I know because I caught some, but even a good sized crappie isn't that big of a fight. So it was just sort of like, actually that one I just it wasn't even on a pole. It was on these things called tip ups. That's what it was. Tip ups. So it's rigged to this little flag thing. The fish pulls it, the flag goes up. You run over on the ice and you just haul it up by hand. But I know that there are, like in very cold year or normally the Mississippi freezes over here and you go ice fishing on the Mississippi, you could get big muskies, great big northern pike, lake trout, but big carp. So I would say, those would probably have a little bit more fight. Yeah.
I would imagine. Yes.
Troy will be ultrasounding. I agree that is always fun. Anticipation. It's great. And like ultrasounding is another level of anticipation. You know,
Forget about it.
But tonight I think it's been certainly since August and maybe September. I can't recall. No, I can't. It was not September. I haven't performed. I haven't played a gig. I haven't played music in public since August. And you know me, and like I get antsy if I go a week without a gig, man. It's been months, like coming up on certainly just past 4 months, maybe 5 months.
So tonight you're playing?
Yeah, I don't have a gig, but there's an open mic in town. But this town has two pretty active colleges in it, big colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a really thriving art scene. So this open mic is actually at like the local theater. So like they'll have, I don't know, it's probably, excuse me, 1,500, 2,000 seats. There won't be 1,500 or 2,000 people there, but it's got the full stage. You get the full sound and the back line, and it's pretty good musicians from what I hear. So anyhow, I am going to go, I'm going to go play at that with the goal of meeting new musicians, because it's time I start getting some gigs. So that'll be tonight. And I don't mind playing solo gigs, but I'm better as a duo. I'm better if I could focus on sort of the root story and the base of the music, and then have another guitar or fiddle or banjo or who knows what, mandolin, playing with me, and let them kind of showcase them. So that's what I'm hoping to find. Hoping to find a side. I wouldn't call it a sidekick, because we got to be kind of equals. I prefer to, if I need somebody, we're equals. We're not, it's not anyway, I am looking forward to that. So that's that. And I have a show this Sunday, which I'm very excited about. This kind of kicks off a run of 5 shows in 7 weeks, I think. So the next 7 weeks is gonna be
it's a reptile show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. It's interesting that they're both called shows, though. I'm doing a show, I'm performing a show, going to a show.
They're not all that different, to be honest. They are different stages, but at the end of the day, there is some analogous field solutions between the two of them, which we didn't talk about on that show. We should have. I mean, the idea of being on and on stage is a really valuable lesson, and it's actually helped me in reptiles as well.
Well, how much do you perform in your life? I mean, there's so many things that you do that you are performing all the time.
Do you mean me specifically, or just as the philosophical?
No, in general.
View?
In general.
Oh yeah, we all wear masks. We all I mean, we have our uniforms. I used to tell people at work, I said, look, guys, you don't know me, but I could be covered in tattoos, but I'm paid and I sign up for this job. Nobody forced me to do it. I have a look and an image that I have to put forward, and you guys do too. You're paid well, and I work hard to make sure that you make money, but you got to represent what you signed up for, So
right, yeah, sure. Do you have tattoos all over your body? You have no tattoos.
I will give the same answer. I could be covered in tattoos, but you would never know it. So there you go. I'll leave it right there for you, Joe.
What, you're not? So that's something. What do you call it? Proprietary. You don't want that information out there.
I don't know that I'm going to make any money on the proprietary. Usually something's proprietary because I want to. I suppose it's it's my story.
Private. I should have used private.
I want you to fill in whatever image, if it makes you happy that I'm covered in tattoos, think of it that way. If not, you could think of it the other way.
Should we take a poll out there? Oh, so we have somebody saying no tattoos at all. Any others? Any other guesses?
Lorga, our man in Moscow, says real men do scars. Yeah, there you go. We have to. It doesn't count unless we suffered, right?
Somebody's asking if there's a tramp stamp involved. I guess it is nice to leave it up to the imagination, I guess.
That would Crystal would have a point that would be a very good reason for me not to acknowledge having any in this hypothetical story that people want to play out.
So you did say something. You did say something.
Jeremy says 0. Sarah says 1. Troy says 0. Okay. Scars and tats. Yeah. Okay. Gerald has one. Yeah. Gerald. If it's Gerald I'm thinking of, I think he has a couple. All right. I cut you off, Joe. What were you saying, man?
You did say something like you were talking about performing shows,
Yeah.
music shows.
Right. Right.
And you're like, you said, you know me, I hate to go a long time doing a show.
Yeah.
So is that like where does that come from? How does that rate in your life? Like, do you not feel yourself? Is that a need of yours to feel whole and complete and feel like Adam?
Yeah. Yes to all of that. I enjoy it immensely, and I can't quite put my finger on it why, but I'll tell you, and this is no lie, and I have a limited experience in the analogy that I'm going to make. But performing with a band is the best I've ever felt. It's the highest high I've ever felt. And I haven't put a whole lot of things in my body, but anything that I have, it's a better feeling than any of those things. I love the music itself. I love there's sort of a camaraderie and a flow that comes from music, like an actual mental scientist, psychologists talk about being in flow when your brain is there.
Yeah.
There's a flow that comes with that big setting. We used to have a lineup of 6 of us, and look, we weren't the Stones or anything, but we were pretty good, man. And when we were on, it was like nothing I'd ever felt. And so I miss that. But that's hard to do, man. Getting 6 people to care about one thing, much less do it well, is a nightmare, man. And that wasn't my band. I was a member in the band. I showed up and I did my part and I loved it. Leading that band of 6, no way. Never want to do it. No, thank you.
That was
duos, Spade McQuaid and the All Stars. That was the All Star lineup. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
And then I did. I to this day I consider myself a part of Spade's band. If he calls, I'll get on a plane. I'll go play a show, kind of thing. But as a duo, I really, really enjoy that. The duo is enough to interact with somebody else and to really kind of get that flow and put on a show. But duo's cool because there's nothing like you can't, like with 6 of us, you could hide behind something. Like you can make a mistake and nobody would know. You could just be acting. You could be 1/6 of us every night could be asleep as long as they were, you could Weekend at Bernie's your way through a show if you needed to. Not that I recommend it, but you could. A duo is a little more dangerous. Like you can't miss. Like you got a guitar and you got a fiddle. That's it. One of you is off, you're off, kind of deal.
Right.
So I like that because you had to there was no room for sloppiness and you really had to tighten it in. But when it was good, it was really, really intimate and you could connect and all of that. So I like all of those things. And I like, again, we could get into the philosophical thing. Is it art? Is it business? Is it any of it? Hopefully it's all of it. I loved that I could make music, make money. I made, it was a substantial part of my income for the past couple of years. And that really is kind of at the low end of the spectrum, but it's cool to be able to. And it's really cool to be able to go buy a guitar and have it as a business expense. That's pretty fun too. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, to call it what it is.
So there's something about doing, so that is a business, that's a part of your income, right? So
yeah, it's claimed on, I file with the IRS, all that. I have a business tax number.
So there's something, there's that part of it, which is like, I need to do this to make money, but there's something in the content of that stuff that you do that is a part of you that makes you Adam, that you need to do in order to be Adam. And I wonder, what is that? Is there a level of that in the reptile game for you? Or is it more, I really enjoy this. This is a business and it's collecting. Is it, and then selling? And is there, like, if you couldn't do this for some reason, would you not feel like Adam?
Yeah, to a lesser extent. So music I've been performing publicly. I think my first public gig I was 16. So I've been playing music since I was 14. So I got 30 years under my belt on music.
Mm.
It's a little bit of a harder thing to go, it's not an apples to apples comparison. I would greatly miss the reptiles if I wasn't doing that, though. It's quickly become part of what I'm doing. This community, this show, this sort of lifestyle that I'm living, I like it, and it is part of what I do, and it's pretty fun. It's this whole new world of chasing this entrepreneurial dream. So in one way, the snakes are a vehicle to that, but in another
Yeah.
way, they are cool. Like I look forward to. It's really funny. Thursday mornings are a weird thing for me this time of year because there's a particular pungent odor in the room. Because Wednesdays I pair my breeders, and how they show their affection for each other is particularly odoriferous. And Thursday mornings I often forget that at 5, or 6:15 when I walk in the room, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are. It's working.
Yeah.
It is breeding season. So yeah, to a lesser extent. And I think, Joe, if it went away, it would be a bigger miss. So the money I've made from music isn't like lavish
Yeah.
lifestyle stuff. It's
Right.
it's a grind. You make a little bit. Oh, none of it's lavish lifestyle. You know me. I'm not, that doesn't really describe me anyhow. But there's been far more of a business put towards the snakes and the ball pythons, and it sort of gets encompassed in this whole thing too. There's marketing. It's all evolved. I've actually started working with a guy outside of reptiles. He's asked me for some social media sort of mentorship consulting, and I took on that client this week. Like, so who knew?
Okay.
Yeah, who knew that breeding a ball python would lead to that business model?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's all little things here and there, and it's pretty cool and fun.
So I mean, I love that's one of the things I love about you is your honesty. Is you're very honest about everything, and I mean, to say to a lesser extent, yes, definitely, music has been a part of my life. And the first thing you said, it's been a part of your life for 30 years. So let's say you continue this, that will maybe you're like if you stopped breeding, selling, if you stop being a part of this, eventually maybe there would be some kind of that doesn't feel right if I'm not around reptiles.
Yeah, there's it. All right, so I guess here's an indication of how much it's started to become important to me.
Yeah.
I have thought to myself, well, part of why I've always worked so hard is because I want to retire early, and I kind of have this vision of accumulating, let's just say, wealth for what it is, but accumulating resources. And then one day I want to flip a switch, and I kind of want to go screw off for the last 3 decades of my life. And and that's going to take a fair amount of money and resources, but it's also going to take a fair amount of time. And I will need to I'll need to step away. I think the answer, ideally in my perfect little mind, is that at some point when I start approaching that time, I'll take on an employee or a mentee, and eventually, hopefully, they could buy the operation, or I can be their partner in the background, and they take over. So I would still sort of have my finger in the pot, but I wouldn't be doing it. And I think that's how I've had to cook that idea up, because I didn't like the idea of just going, okay, I'm out, goodbye.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say, to your point, I hadn't really thought of it in those terms, but yeah, to your point, yeah, I'm going to miss it. And so I've already started thinking of ways that I'll be able to stay involved in it if when that day comes.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. And your description of um playing music, there is something that happens in the room when you perform
Oh,
or
yeah.
I mean, that's really, really an incredible feeling. So there was so I in my career I've delivered some leadership development kind of stuff. One of the
Sure.
things that we did was uh, there was a lot of pictures. We set out a whole lot of pictures. One of the things that connected leadership talks about is like you have to find your own style of leadership. And some people agree with that, some people don't, you know. But it's really like to be comfortable as a leader. It's just like get to know yourself. You're more effective when you're more self-aware. Whatever. So that's the
Yes.
premise. So uh
I think
so
you should say that last line again because I might have got lost. You're more effective when you're self-aware.
you're
That is
more
absolutely true.
yeah, you're more effective as a leader when you're more self-aware. Uh, and so one of the things that we did was we set out a whole lot of uh, pictures, just random pictures of all different types of things. And we ask people pick the picture that describes that you identify with most as your leadership style. So when I do that, when I did that for the first time, I picked out this picture of a guy playing the guitar, singing with a group of people around him, and they were playing other instruments, and there were other people. Uh, there were other people listening. So, and the reason that I picked that picture was it's like you're as a leader, I like to strike a chord, like and get everyone in tune with this
There you
sound.
go. Yeah, yeah.
And when you do that on a team, then other people take notice and listen and follow. So, and that, so when I think about my style, that's of leadership, that's what I think about. But also, it points to the fact that I have had moments where I have been on stage striking a chord, and then have felt that experience that you feel where you're all together creating this sound and you're bringing joy to other people. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the best feelings that you can do, I think, in my life
I,
that I've
I love
experienced.
it. And I'll tell you what's even crazier about the phenomenon. Um, there are nights and there this isn't all the time, and I mean, but there's nights where you just feel totally invincible. You feel just like just king of the world. And that's because the audience is in tune and they're loving it. And I know this starts getting into some like artist hippie stuff, their energy and our energy and blah, blah, blah. But there are nights that you could feel that and it's palpable. And what's amazing is, or funny and ironic and really grounding, is there was a time we were recording every show, mostly for kicks, but we had Spades put, by the way, guys, if you guys want to check out Spade McQuaid, Spades put out 6 or 8 albums, and he's got plenty of background with MCA and touring the world and all of that. So we were kicking around, hey, we should listen to this. Maybe we do a live album instead of getting 6 of us in a studio. Let's just do a live album. And there was nights where we can remember and we're like, that was amazing. That was the best show. It was incredible. The crowd was in it. We're loving it. We're all feeling like rock stars. I'm hitting notes. I'm ripping leads. Everybody, everything you could want. You're getting all those endorphins. You're feeling the highest high. We play the tape back. It is the most cacophonous garbage. Like, it was terrible. It was just like clanging it was like a circus. Like, so perhaps we were all like, and when I say we all, I mean the audience, the pub, everybody, perhaps we were all equally inebriated and had no idea how, like, in our own world, how awful everything was. It's so funny. Like, they're like, nobody like, that was the greatest show ever. Like, that was not good. And then the vice versa. There's nights where it feels off on stage or where there's not that flow and I'm really focusing and I'm trying to hear, and somebody will come up afterwards and be like, that was amazing. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That's great. Thanks.
There's something
I'm out of here.
like I like that. I like the analogy of and like when you talk about like, oh, you have the energy on stage and then you're feeling the energy and there's that, that you kind of
It's
I don't
real.
want to say, yeah. But like I love the analogy of striking a chord
Oh
or
yeah.
being in tune, like not just
Yeah.
being in tune with your team, but being in tune with the everyone. You're creating a sound that everyone's in tune with. And I mean, that's I, outside of music, that's a fantastic thing. Just to be in the presence of people like this morning, where we're all
Yeah.
kind of vibing, we're doing the same thing, we're talking about things that we like to talk about. I mean, striking that chord among even this group is just that's 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 kind of like what I'm chasing all the time, I think.
Well, I think a lot of us are, and I can't speak for, I can't say everybody. And I've decided, I have literally thought hard about this in life. I can't say what's good or right or should be for any other human being. I'm still trying to figure it out for myself. I thought I had it figured out a long time ago. And then, you get old and you realize
Yeah.
you don't know anything. So I have no idea what everybody's searching for, but I do think in life that, like you say, that synchronicity, that accordance, that in tune, any of those analogies or examples, I think that's something that everybody's thirsty for. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's a relationship, that's a friendship, that's a hell, it's driving on the interstate. If somebody's out of tune on, hey, you're out, you're going to kill somebody, dude. Get
Right.
settle down. Let's roll here. So, um, yeah, I think that is out there.
I
Um,
went. I mean, I was at a soccer game last night for Aiden. My stepson
oh
plays
yeah,
soccer,
team sports are a
so
great analogy. Yeah.
their team lost 4-0. They were just overrun by this other team, and the other team the team that Aiden's on has terrific players, but there was a guy on the back line, his center back, who
Yeah.
was yelling the entire game on the other team. Go, let's do this. Now you got to move to the center, do this. He was basically coaching from the back line because he was
Okay.
seeing
Yeah.
everything. But because he was so intense the entire time, they just overran
Mhm.
Aiden's team because they were so in tune with each other. And there was that one guy who was striking the chord that everybody was listening to,
Yeah.
where they had a team instead of just 11 people on the field, which is what Aiden's team was. They were just they weren't working together, they weren't striking a chord together. And you could tell, like, when they won, they were just elated. They were just high school sports. So they think it's the biggest thing that has ever happened in the existence of the world. But I think it was just that being able to strike a chord, get everybody on the same page, bring up the intensity at a level the entire game that just overran the other team. I mean, it was actually really kind of incredible and inspiring to watch. And the analogy of leading from the back line was, I could talk about that for like 20
Well,
minutes.
so I think I do think, and we're getting farther and farther down this rabbit hole, but I like it. It's okay. I think momentum is real. We could watch the playoff games this weekend and see that, whether you're pros or in high school. But you said something in there that whether it's leadership, whether it's life, whether it's stage, whether it's me vending at the Minneapolis show this weekend, you said they were playing like they believed it was the most important thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
somebody believes that, or a group of people believe that,
Yeah.
you better watch out. And
Yes,
and
yes.
the fact is, usually, and I don't want to spotlight Aiden too much. He's still a young man and a child, big child. That dude
Big
is
dude.
built like a brick house, and I know that he practices hours and hours on end, and
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
him. I like as Lorga Pedro called it, football. I enjoy football
Football.
a
My
lot. I'm
apologies.
a supporter of Liverpool. Fantastic. I love watching the game. When Aiden strikes a ball, it is like a freaking shotgun going off, and that ball moves like it was shot out of a shotgun. So
Yeah,
if
he's
he's
got a big
playing
leg.
on a team of peers, so there's 11 of him, and these other dudes were outdoing those 11 dudes, that's some serious stuff. But what I'm saying is, there's no, it wasn't in my mind. And I know this is a higher end level of organized sports that Aiden's playing. This is a travel soccer team and all of that. The point being, the difference in skill, literally player to player, is probably very minute. Having that belief that it's the most important thing in the world, having that leader, having that in tune, having, as Troy said, the police reference, the synchronicity, that can be the difference. Not just because I guarantee you every one of those kids is firing that ball like a rocket. Every one of those kids could run whatever speed in the, the 440 or whatever. So I do think all that's real, and I think it's relatable across arts, business, personal life, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Can I share 3 scenarios with you that got me on this kick today?
Okay, yeah. Because
set the stage.
But before we do that, I don't think this is a rabbit hole, because I think it does connect with what I think I think you have in mind, because
it does. Yeah.
This striking a chord thing is like, it's like, I need it in my life.
There you go. Nice.
I need to have it. Like, just the same way that you're like my music. I've got to do music to feel like Adam. I've got to have this chord thing, this in tune thing in my life in order to feel like you.
I love it. So that means when I threw out the show prep idea, there was a chord that was struck. It's good.
Right.
I don't get it when people knock Liverpool. They're at the top of the table, man. Like, pick another year to give me the I can't even speak the way I want to right now. I'm having a good time, man. Okay, so all right, I'm going to give those 3 scenarios in just a second. Really quick, let's take care of Cold Blooded Cafe. Guys, 11% off. Is not cheap to buy frozen rodents. If you use the promo code PROPER11 at Cold Blooded Cafe, you're going to get 11% off. They're running sales right now, and look, I'm not so sure that I'm supposed to say put the 11% on it, but log in, put the 11% on it. It works. Even if you didn't get a discount, I like Cold Blooded Cafe. It's all that I feed my animals. My adult animals are all on frozen thawed, and I only use Cold Blooded Cafe. And I only used them well before I was ever in business with them, too. So I stand by their product. I come from a background of food production, and I know it's probably a little bit more details than you want. Just smell the difference. Order something from the competition. Order something from Cold Blooded Cafe and open the bag. Look at it. Smell it. It's fresher. It's better. Check out Creative Genetics. That's Keith out in Fresno, California. Keith is working with the Stranger Project and Stranger Combos. He's got het clowns, axanthics, and I believe pieds and hypos with Stranger Combos as well. I own several of his snakes, and I'm doing a breeder project with his clown axanthic. So not only am I partnered with him as an advertiser and a business arrangement, but I'm using his animals. We're breeding together. It's a good project. So check him out. He's got some animals available. That's Creative Genetics, and that is Keith. Thank you very much for the support. Thanks for sticking around. We got up to 34 viewers, man. We got us a little morning show going on, right?
Yeah, this is awesome.
So there were two things that happened recently, and they reminded me of a third scenario. And that got me thinking about what's important, who do I want to be, and what sort of motivates me and sort of gives me a framework. So the last thing I wanted to do on the show today was go, Mondays at 11, I pull tubs. Mondays at noon, I sanitize. Yeah, I can't. I can go through that, and maybe I will in a long form video. But it was more important of getting to what needs to happen, what do I want to have happen, what will fulfill me if it happens, and why is all that important? Because of who I want to be and the goals that I want to achieve. I should say thanks. I'm horrible because I can't stand doing like the roll call in the audience. Like, we got like 1 hour to get to, and spending 10 minutes of like, hey, there's Kara Shea. but I'm so thankful for everybody, and I appreciate you guys,
Yeah,
is what
me
I want to
too.
say. And then
Me
I
too,
hear
yeah.
this stuff, and I want to provide content. So I don't think just doing a roll call is very good content. On the other hand, I always want to give thanks. So I do appreciate everybody in the audience. So, all right. So 3 scenarios, 2 that happened very recently, and then 1 that sort of harkened back and really touched a nerve in me and made me think about some things. So 1 fun conversation. A breeder called me, and somebody I really look up to, somebody who in a lot of ways has mentored me. I'm not going to say their name because I don't know that I'm bringing them up, but I hold them in incredibly high esteem. They call me and they say, we just chat and talk behind the scenes sometimes with a lot of people. And anyway, I said, hey, yeah, what's going on? What's up? And he had some specific questions, but then he goes, you know what, Adam? He goes, are you doing this full time? And I said, well, I've got some commitments with food and beverage consulting, and I try and stay busy with some other work. But I said, by and large, yeah. And I said, the amount of time I put in is probably full time. And he says, well, I was thinking of doing that. And he's a caliber breeder that could. And he goes, I don't know what I would do with all my time. He goes, I do fine. I have 300-400 snakes. I have a full-time job. And I don't really know what I would do with myself if I stepped away. And in my mind, I went, and I did say this positively to him, but I had to think it through. I said, dude, you're such a smart guy. You're such an insightful person, and you're such a good breeder. You're going to find ways to grow your business even larger. You're going to have time for marketing. You're going to have time for shows or YouTube or endeavoring in new things in life, reading a book. And I know he's got other hobbies and that he's very good at. So in my mind, I was like, you would do all sorts of fulfilling things with extra time. And I know that we're all wired differently. So in my mind, I'm like, if I had extra time, I would take over the world. I got lists of things I would do. I have all kinds of stuff I would do. So that was one thing. The next was and again, I'm not going to bring up names. So I want to make sure that I'm the last thing I want to be known as is don't have a conversation with Adam because he's going to turn it into a show. That's something I worry about a lot, to be honest. So there's another breeder who is he's been at it about as long as I have, but kind of getting off the ground, getting going. And he said he put out a video of like lessons learned in 2023, and he basically said in one place, like, just take it easy. Don't drive. One of the lessons he learned was like, don't drive people nuts. There's somebody, and I had no idea. I didn't know that he felt this way. I didn't know that. I hope I didn't make him feel that way. He said, well, I got to meet people that I look up to at Tinley. And one of those people was Adam at Proper Royals. And he was very nice. He's very gracious. And I went back and I was kind of fanboying. And then I think I was annoying him. And then what he said that struck a chord, first that bothered me. Nobody annoys me. If you're a customer and you're a supporter, you're not going to annoy me. He said, I know Adam likes to be efficient. And here I was probably screwing up his day, taking up his time.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh no, I don't ever want to make somebody feel that way.
Yeah.
But forget whether I make somebody feel that way or not. I don't want that to be the perception of me, that I'm this robot that can't be bothered by people. Because at the end of the day, this is all a vehicle to people, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Interaction, those needs, that I miss the camaraderie, all of that stuff. And I went, oh no. So a couple things wrapped up in there. One, I reached out to the guy and I said, first, we are totally cool. Anybody that ever supports me, I always want to make time for. And if I don't, I deserve a swift kick right in the tail, right just below that tattoo down there. And then, but then I said, man, is this the unintended consequence and image that I'm putting out there? Don't waste Adam's time. Don't say hi to Adam unless you're going to give him money. Oh no, I don't want to be, that's terrible. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. So that got me thinking, like, eek. And that touched a nerve to a time in my career, not too long ago. I was pretty high up. I was a food and beverage executive at this resort, and I was very proud of the work I did. I ran a tight operation. The results were good. I delivered the money. I delivered the budget expectations, working my butt off, double-digit hours most days, 6 days a week that I'm working, crushing it. And what does some members say? We had these member surveys and feedback, and you could report to the board and all that. We never see Adam. We don't know what he does. Why are we paying this guy? Are you kidding me? I got 3 million reasons why you're paying me. They're called dollar bills that I drive in revenue. And I was so hurt and so offended that I'm putting in all this work, and somebody says, what does he do? We never see him. Why are we paying him? And it occurred to me, there was a lot of things wrapped up in there. One was people only ingest what they perceive, and they didn't see me. I had a really well-run team that I didn't have to babysit. I could manage as a CEO instead of being the boots on the ground. But the people wanted that interaction. They wanted to know whatever this figurehead is that they're paying for, that they get some time with that person.
Yeah.
So and it took me a long time to come to that. The other half of it was I realized I wasn't that happy, and I didn't want to be seen by some of those people. And that was hard to admit as well, because again, I feel I was very, very good at my job, but that missing component of the warm interactions with people is so, so valuable. And part of why I love this community is that I relate to people in the community. It's very hard to relate to a community for me of billionaires and millionaires that I don't want to be. I don't want to live a country club lifestyle. I don't want that to be who I am. So there was always this sort of disconnect between me and who I was serving. It was an us and a them thing. And I never wanted to be an us and them in reptiles. I talk about it a lot. I hate elitism. I hate sort of any kind of segregation. There's no separate but equal. That's always been a sham. So I take a lot of pride in that. So those are the 3 scenarios that got me thinking, what do I do? Why do I do it? And who do I want to be? And that was this week-long, all right, Adam, you're in it this far, and it's time to start tweaking and start polishing up who you are and that sort of thing. And it came at the right time. I'm really motivated for the show this week. I'm going to meet a lot of people and interact with a lot of people. And I think these are healthy thoughts for me to have going into that show, building a brand in still a fresh market to me. This is only 4 months that I've been here. I need to make sure that those aren't the perceptions that I'm giving off, and that I'm thinking through. So sorry, you humored me while I went through just talking about me. Just, hey guys, just come tune in while Adam talks about Adam.
Well,
so
I mean, obviously you're also, comment, you're striking a chord right now. I mean, and so that comment's distracting me, but I think that's a really good point. But what I want to say about you and listening to you, and I don't want it just to be about you, but there's a juxtaposition even in the way that you describe what you want, why you're doing this career, is that you want to retire early so that you can screw off for a while, which blows my mind, because I don't see you. I don't know. There's something, a part of you that is like wants to learn and build and do like something, so what's interesting, and that makes me think about what I know about you over the past 10 years or so. I've gotten to know you, and how fun and personable you are. You're doing all these things throughout the day to get to the point where you can play the show, or I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the high and the hang after the music show is as important to you
Yeah,
as the
I
music
love it.
show itself, right?
Oh, the whole lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah. I do
Yeah.
the traveling, getting to another show, seeing the country. Oh, I get to travel and I get paid to do it. Oh, beautiful. I miss that
It's
stuff.
the
Yeah.
hang. It's the
Oh,
hang. Like one of my
which comes
favorite
down,
people.
and what people don't know
Yeah.
about is the hangout, the green room, the camaraderie, the not the fan. I don't know that we have fans, but people that we hang out with. Like it's not a
Yeah.
fans is a little more transactional. Just our community, just the people. Hey, even on breaks, go have a drink with people on break and get back to the stage.
Same thing with these shows, right? With the snake shows, the reptile shows. I think obviously doing the show is super important to you. Also super important to you is finding the local steakhouse, getting a bottle of wine, and
Yeah,
enjoying the
right.
hang.
Yeah,
So it's just interesting. So it makes you think like, why do you? Yeah, exactly. Why do you do the things that you do? What are you actually working towards? What are you
right.
actually working towards? And your efficiency, your you
I
build
know
your
it's so
you
sensitive now. I'm like, shoot, I gotta stop saying that. I
but
cannot be the robotic dude, man.
you build your systems to be efficient in order for you to have those moments. That's
Yes,
what I
and
think.
yes, and that's the distinction. It's I there's this program, or there's this philosophy of manufacturing called lean, and I'm not gonna say who, but I had a conversation with somebody, and they said, Adam, when you talk about lean, it really kind of strikes a chord with me because we had this lean consultant come in, and that lean consultant decided I didn't need to be there anymore. So it's kind of hard for me to appreciate anything when you talk about lean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, that is a terrible situation because lean is not about doing more with less. Lean is about doing more better so that you can get onto growing your business, spending more time at home, being more efficient. It's lean gets turned into, oh, what's lean? Lean's no fat. Cut the fat, boom, you're out of it. No, that's not what lean's about. And I hate it when it's turned that way. So but why? So why do we do this? I had I had a little slide prepared, and I don't think yeah, all right. So some smart scientists did all this work for us, and it doesn't mean that they're right. It means it gives us something to discuss, and we got Maslow's pyramid of needs, I think is what this is called. So if you start at the bottom, there's the physiological needs. You need to breathe. You need breathing, food, water, shelter. We understand that this is stuff that you physically will die if you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Safety and security. Okay, that's the next thing. Health, employment, property. That's cool. I would think that would be higher, but that's cool. And I hadn't looked that closely at that. So to circle all the way back to going and playing an open mic tonight, people have been asking me, Adam, how come you're not out playing? Adam, it's a big city, Minneapolis, great music scene. Get out there. You're going to be ripe with opportunities. And I said, I got to get my business on its feet first. I love music, but it ain't going to pay the bills. I need the stuff that's going to pay the bills first. So I needed that physiological safety and security. We had to move to a new house. We had to get situated in the home. So I feel like now I'm trying to find the cursor. I feel like I'm right in this sort of area here is if I could pinpoint what I'm trying to do right now, the title of the show, what would you say you do here? I'm doing that stuff because now I want to be at the sense of connection, unique individual, confidence, achievement, all that good stuff. But I would throw in there that camaraderie, that interaction. I'm missing that. And as I was looking at this pyramid, I said, you know what? Maybe this isn't a vertical pyramid. Maybe this is put physiological needs here. That's a must. That's a binary you got to have. But I think the rest maybe isn't a linear thing. I think it's all scattered together. I do think we have needs. I think I need sunshine, man. Some of the hardest part of this winter hasn't been the cold. It's been that we get these gray days for 2 weeks at a time, man. So I'm feeling all of that together, but I'm so excited because I'm like, you know what? I've had 3 good months in a row. January's churning as well. It's good. Adam, it's time to get above the needs. It's time to stop in your mind kicking your own butt mercilessly because you got your needs figured out. Take a deep breath, go have some fun, and stop being this off-putting robot that people think that they're interrupting your efficiency. I don't want to be. That's not who I am. That's not why I got into this. It's not what I want to do. So that is Adam's crazy world this week. That's what I have today.
It is I this Maslow's been around for, however many years, and I think we've all kind of heard of this hierarchy of needs. I think when you look at it, two things pop to mind. One is, there's a lot of people who don't have the lower needs, the physiological, the safety and
Right.
security, and you go, and I go, well, if I'm addicted to thinking about self-actualization, like, is that an indication of, I don't want to use the trigger word privilege, but but
Yeah.
is that an indication that I have it better than most people, and that I can think about these things,
Well,
um so that's
let me flip that
yeah,
on you real quick. I think it's an opportunity for thanks and gratitude.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that I agree with completely, and you're exactly right. How fortunate in the world that I can be going, well, I'm screwing around in my own head, and my head is messed up because my green and yellow Maslow's pyramid is off. Hey, good job, Adam. Your red and your orange is fine. That means that you are winning. You're in the top 1% of the billions of people on the world. Yeah. And that's where that thanks and a little, speaking of self-actualization, looking in the mirror and realizing that is a big part of life, I think, too.
And the other thing is, yeah, I do think that there, and far be it from us for us to go, wow, Maslow's off here because this has been around for so long. But I think that there is this kind of, um, sometimes, sometimes when you don't have the things in the red, or the things in the, well, I'm colorblind, so the things at the bottom, uh
Yeah.
towards the bottom, sometimes you have more of an opportunity to become more self-actualized. That might be that might be a really, really terrible thing to say, uh, for somebody who doesn't have these, as who's not as fortunate as us. But
So,
um,
yeah, that's an interesting thought because there's a whole market for people that have never worried about safety, security, and physiological needs to go to places where they don't have that, to go these retreats where there's no nothing, and you go and you eliminate everything from your life. It's pretty
yeah.
ironic that way. um
And then
Somebody
there's
comment. Oh, go
me,
ahead.
and
Yeah.
then there's me, where I go, uh, I'm so, like, I use the word addicted.
Hmm.
Uh, so addicted to the the idea of actualization, the idea of self-esteem, the love and belonging, that sometimes I will even sacrifice the things towards the bottom because I want those other things so much.
Would you
And
say that's would you say
maybe I'm
that's like
missing.
financially that you would
Yeah,
say you would
yeah,
sacrifice? Yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, um, giving up the security that I have felt. Now, I don't think that this is talking about safety and security in the way that I'm talking about. I think safety and security is more about keeping yourself safe from violence and things like that. Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
but in my very fortunate world, I'm thinking about the safety of myself, my family, my shelter, making sure I still have the house that I live in, and all of that.
Yeah. Hell yes.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
because I want that connection, the self-esteem, the love and belonging. sometimes I'll make decisions that are anti safety and security.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's hard. We think, I go back to that thought, at about 27, I kind of knew everything, man. I was confident I was cruising through the world. And now here I'm knocking on 44 and I'm like, I don't know, man. I got to figure some of these other things out. So, because Shannon commented that the chart is flawed. Yeah, the chart's absolutely flawed. I don't think that we can go through a framework for life in 5 easy colors and one nifty shape.
I
But
also
it gives
think
the
he's
groundwork
joking.
to just. Yeah, well, I know, but it is flawed, and I think that I don't think that those things are linear. I think those are all things that we all want, and you can want one before the other and after another and at the same time as another. So I think that all goes into what we do and why we do. I was going to go back to on the big wrap up here. I was going to go back to Troy's comment for a minute, unless we should pick this apart a little bit more. Joe, anything on that one?
Well, I'm getting texts from my our friend Jay, who was on the show a few weeks ago.
What's Jay say? What's our man in Boston or in Mass say?
He says that my needs include a Wawa hoagie. That I need a Wawa hoagie all the time. So
I'm more of their grilled chicken Caesar wrap. That was my road food. That was my healthy meal on the road, was a chicken Caesar wrap from Wawa.
And he says, yeah, going into accounting is anti-safety and security.
Nothing like bearing your soul to have the old friend that calls you Joey just turn the knife, right? Pete's sake, man.
One thing I like about Jay is that he's honest as well. So
he's direct, yeah. All right. So one thing, and this was a different conversation that came up 2 days ago. I was talking with another breeder. Troy, I'm going to paraphrase what Troy said. Troy said, I think to the effect, I don't want to put words in his mouth, it's back there a little bit, and just to save time, I'm not going to scroll through and have the dead air scrolling through. Essentially, wow, that would be a neat idea if I had the extra time to market my business and the neat things I could do if I had that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that conversation because what happens is you get this catch-22 chicken or the egg kind of thing. What's going to come first? I'm going to build my business enough to where I could step away from this other job and then I'll have the time to market it. Or are you going to market it first so that it grows to the point where you can step aside? And we get in this churn and we all have needs. I'm not saying Troy or any other person should quit their jobs, because you got to live, man. You got to keep the lights on. You got to have your red and orange of our little pyramid there. But the conversation I had with that other breeder was, a lot of people say the market's tough, and it is tough. But Monday morning, I spent 4 hours on marketing. Imagine all of us, if you had 4 extra hours, even if you had 4 extra hours a week, much less a day, I'd probably spend 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day marketing. Could you sell more snakes then? Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have the so I have, and again, it's become such a polarizing word. I have the resources, I have the earned privilege, I have the opportunity where it made sense that I could step away and take that time. But what I found was when I had the time and I could market straight ahead, voila, you could sell more snakes and you can fill that gap. So
yeah,
food for thought. I cannot, again, I will always, the last thing I want to be is somebody who lectures an audience. That is the last thing I ever want to be. So I can't speak to what's good for another person, what another person should or shouldn't do. Food for thought. It worked for me. And that is to go back to the big question of why do I do? What do you say you do? And then my other buddy going, what would you do with your extra time? I think he would build his business. I think he would smoke it. And he's got way better stuff than I have and way more stuff than I have. I'm like, I know what I would do with all your extra time. I would grow your business, man. So
okay,
that's my thought. There's your food for thought.
My last thought, though, is some folks, and I would put myself in this category.
Okay.
if they had 4 extra hours,
Yeah.
they might not market. What they would do is they would go, I want to watch this television show.
Yeah.
You know?
No, well, and
Or I haven't seen this movie that I've been meaning to watch for 5 years.
but
So
that
I
would be
wanna
great
watch.
too. No, but that would be great too. Like that's
Yeah.
where when he asked me that, I was like, I don't know, anything you want that brings you joy. I used to tell people that at work, guys, work hard. Yeah, work hard for the cause, but work hard for what's going to make you happy. If that's spending time with your kids, great. If that's sitting on your couch drinking a beer, being left alone in peace, go do that. So I can't say what people should or shouldn't do. I know what I would do excitedly, but I would catch up on all the Scorsese flicks that I say I don't have time in life for.
They're too long these days.
Nah, if I'm gonna sit still for 2.5 hours, give me 4 hours of Scorsese or 3 hours of Tarantino, man. That's what I'm talking about. Or as Josh says, a 4-hour nap, man. These days, oh my gosh, that would be nice. I agree. Joe, I hope you have fun at the hockey game this weekend. I hope you and Chelsea do something spontaneous. I hope you get a little of the purple and green in the pyramid filled this week. And I think, and my son gets braces today. That's a whole new thing too.
Oh boy.
So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon is what I will be doing. Everybody come out and see me at the Minneapolis, Cold-Blooded Expo. There's going to be some great breeders there. Not other people that are great. Joe from JSA will be there, and Troy from Best Dressed Balls will be there. Chris at Epic Style will be there. So it's a cool show, and I hope to see everybody there. And Joe,
and remember, a couple of weeks away, Tampa Repticon. Looking forward to it.
Are you going?
I'm gonna go. I believe I'm gonna go in the morning. Yeah, and in the morning. I think
you're gonna go in the morning. Which day? Saturday or Sunday?
Oh, I didn't know it was I didn't know it was Sunday. I thought it was just Saturday. So maybe Sunday.
It's a 2-day show, man. Yeah. All right. All right. We have time to figure it out then. But yes, Joe, man on the street in Tampa at the Repticon. Make your plans, guys. I want to say thanks to everybody. I'll see you soon. See you. Thanks for the new people coming in. I gave a little pitch on my Tuesday night show. I think I saw a little pip in the metrics today, man. So appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll do it at the same place, same time next week. Joe, have an awesome week, man.
You too, man. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Love it.